Francis Bacon, the Bible, and the Cipher, Upper Dean's secret legacy. When a distinguished gent from Upper Dean and I were ambling past his historic farmhouse, he nodded and pointed to a 16th century cottage, stating Francis Bacon lived here for a time. That chat sent me down the historical rabbit hole, and what I found was enough to make a Freemason spit out his port. Turns out Francis Dillingham, one of the lead translators of the King James Bible, lived just 100 yards from where Bacon reportedly stayed. And not just at any old time. The very period the Bible was being translated by Francis Dillingham. Dillingham was a theologian's theologian, solid with his Greek and Hebrew, but dry as dust on the page. One of Dillingham's surviving manuscripts on Rome reads like a shopping list for repentance. Functional? Yes. Poetic? Absolutely not. But the Psalms? Proverbs? Some of the most lyrically transcendent writing in the English language. Dillingham was the editor of these books, but, my friends, it has Bacon's fingerprints all over it. The cipher, the shake, and the spear. Now here's where it gets juicy. Let's talk about Psalm 46. Count 46 words from the top, what do you get? Shake. Count 46 words from the bottom, but leave out cellar spear. Shake. Spear. And Francis Bacon? He was 46 years old when the Bible was published. Coincidence? Maybe. But not when seen through the lens of Bacon's Rosicrucian mission. A lifelong campaign to preserve divine knowledge in coded form for those with eyes to see. The Cipher and the Rosicrucian flame. You see, Bacon didn't just write fancy essays about empiricism. He was a master of cryptography. The Baconian cipher, based on binary encoding with A's and B's, wasn't just a parlor trick. It was a tool of resistance, preservation, and esoteric transmission. Scholars like Ignatius Donnelly, Elizabeth Wells Gallup, and A. Reef all pored over Shakespeare and the Bible using this cipher. What they found were names, mottos, and mystical phrases, encoded with Bacon's characteristic flourish. More than that, it was part of a broader mission, the Rosicrucian ideal, to safeguard sacred knowledge in a world of tyranny and ignorance. This wasn't just encryption. It was preservation through concealment. The cipher was a kind of spiritual time capsule. In fact, there's a mechanical cipher device, yes, a real machine, built to encrypt these binary messages into texts. And it's been connected to what esotericists call the Grail cipher, a roadmap of hidden knowledge aimed at awakening mankind's divine potential. Theater, theology, and Gray's Inn. And where did all this brilliant madness intersect? Gray's Inn. We know Dillingham also visited Gray's Inn, Bacon's Shakespeare Works factory, where his literary genius friends restyled the future of English culture. Bacon's stomping ground. A hotbed of Renaissance fusion, politics, literature, theology, and occult philosophy, swirling together like a proper pub punch. That's where Bacon gathered his crew, the same minds behind the Shakespeare canon, many of whom had connections to the King James translation. Themes of divine justice and transformation echo through both sets of texts, Hamlet, The Tempest, The Merchant of Venice, as if penned by the same invisible hand. Psalm 23 and the Master's voice. Take Psalm 23, that iconic passage read at both funerals and coronations. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The rhythm, the structure, the layered metaphor, it's not plodding theology. It's divine poetry. It doesn't read like Dillingham. It reads like Bacon. And more scholars now reckon, he didn't just edit it. He may have ghostwritten it. Upper Dean, the quiet cradle. So here's the twist in the tale. While academics argue in ivory towers and debate ciphers in conference halls, the clues have been hiding in plain sight, in the quiet village of Upper Dean. Where Cromwell's kin, Admiral Nelson, Francis Dillingham and Francis Bacon once walked the same narrow lanes. It wasn't just a meeting of minds, it was a geometric convergence of genius. Upper Dean wasn't just a village. It was the cradle of one of history's greatest literary conspiracies. And thanks to the cipher, the Psalms, and a bit of Rosicrucian flair, Bacon's message still whispers through the leaves. If you've got ears to hear it,